Say you don't know me, I recognize my face. Say you don't care who goes to that kind of place. Knee deep in the hoopla, sinking in your fight. Too many runaways,
Turn the volume up to 7.
eating up the night. Marconi plays the mamba. Listen to the radio. Don't you remember?
Alexa,
We built this
enable
city.
Y365.
We built this city on rock and roll. We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city.
Welcome to the City Show as I fight here with Alexa. Welcome to the City Show. Pat O'Melia here on the City Show on GGR. I'm fighting here with my buddy here, Alexa, a little bit. Night was raining pretty damn heavy today. Got a lot of rain coming this week. Got a lot of rain coming this week. Tomorrow's not going to be bad. Tomorrow won't be bad, but the rest of the week is pretty much a washout. But you deal with it. If you're living in the lower levels of Jersey, City is a hill. Hudson County is basically a big hill on the boulevard side. Jersey City, I'm in the Heights. I'm on the peak of the hill. You go down Manhattan Avenue, you get down to Tunley Avenue, you're on the bottom of the hill. Same thing downtown Jersey City. You get down to like Washington Street, you're on the bottom of the hill. And all that water goes down. And we did all that developing. And, the MUA was doing a tremendous job over the last few years of sewer replacement. It's not as bad as it was, but we still got a lot of sewers to go. And we did so much development, the flooding becomes even more persistent than it was in the past. But that's for another show. The MUA and where they were a year ago and where they are today. Today, remember what I always say? Tell your friends, download the app. Tell your mother's friends, tell whoever friends you need to tell. Tell them all. Down the Live 365 app. A lot of programming on it besides what I do. And it's all free, so that's good. Oh, now Alexa's working. Alexa, stop. Now she's working. She was fighting with me before. So download the app. What we're going to talk about today. Hey, the tax bills are in Jersey City. I got mine. So do my neighbors. Not happy. Not happy. You're not happy either. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a waste transfer station in my neck of the woods. Dogpatch, Jersey City, where I was raised as a young lad along the banks of the Hackensack River at the foot of St. Paul's Avenue. For that matter, 12 years of St. Paul. Mayor James Solomon did a video where he's walking around my old neighborhood, but not really the area he should have been walking in. We want to talk about that. Five Corners Library. There's something shaky going on there. We want to talk a little North Bergen, a little political intrigue there between Nick Sacco and Larry Weinstein, the assemblyman. That's going to be an ongoing, probably a weekly situation between Sacco and Weinstein. I'll bring you up to speed on that. We got the Skyway we're going to talk about. I forgot the ramp was closed. It was closed so long. We're talking about Spider-Man, brand new day. If you're a Marvel MCU fan like I am, with a hell of a day, and a hell of a movie, and a hell of a brand new day, that's for damn sure. We're going to talk about all these things and probably a few more. Like there's no plastic anymore you got to take out. I got to ask for the plastic forks, which I don't like plastic forks in the first place, but I shouldn't have to ask for it. All right, listen, let's break for commercial. You're listening to the City Show here live on GGR. Again, please download the app. Tell your friends to download that app. We'll be right back after these commercials.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights. Your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments. Carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants. All major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Your basement or attic packed? You no longer have a garage? Extra Space Storage, half space. Self-storage units starting at 4 foot by 4 foot and up for the storage of furniture, appliances, electronics, clothing, business inventory, sporting equipment. Some Extra Space locations even have vehicle storage. Extra Space Storage from North Bergen to Toms River and everywhere in between and beyond. Visit on the net for your nearest Extra Space storage location, extraspace.com. Hi, I'm Pat O'Melia with the Hudson County High School Sports and Entertainment Network, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. You may have heard me talk about teaching high school juniors and seniors studio and radio production. The hope is when these kids graduate and wish to continue their education, they may receive college scholarships, or if not, they will have the experience from our program to get employment at the major motion movie studios here in New Jersey and New York. I started a GoFundMe where you can make a donation completely tax deductible to help these kids end the studio program. Please go to GoFundMe and type in Hudson County High School Sports and Entertainment Network. I thank you now for your generosity. Toms River Armory, 602 Clifton Avenue, right at the intersection of Clifton Avenue and Route 37 at Toms River. Your local source for all your firearm, ammo needs, and accessories. Plus, gunsmithing, repair, and cleaning on site. And coming soon, firearm training and classes. Toms River Armory, 732-569-3730. On the net at tomsriverarmory.com. Open Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Toms River Armory, 602 Clifton Avenue at the intersection of Route 37 and Clifton Avenue in Toms River. Visit on the net at tomsriverarmory.com. Your basement or attic packed? You no longer have a garage? Extra Space Storage has space. Self-storage units starting at 4 foot by 4 foot and up for the storage of furniture, appliances, electronics, clothing, business inventory, sporting equipment. Some Extra Space locations even have vehicle storage. Extra Space Storage from North Bergen to Toms River and everywhere in between and beyond. Visit on the net for your nearest Extra Space storage location, extraspace.com.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
All right, we're back. Pat O'Melia here, live on GGR with the City Show. Had some medical tests done this week. All I've been doing for like the last year now is recovering. Recover from a heart stent, knee injury, infection in my legs, pneumonia, blood clots, spot on my lung. I'm missing a few things. Bacteria in my blood, defib. That never came out of nowhere, but that may be from the infection. I had the legs done, the knee done. I got to get the right knee done. I'm having a real problem walking. And people saying I got sciatica. Yeah, the sciatica is pretty damn bad, but it was never diagnosed. It was my wife and this person, that person. My buddy Fernando Uribe, sciatica. You got sciatica. So I went. I know a few doctors from doing the Hudson Health Show, so I was able to get see a doctor, a specialist, neurosurgeon, specialized in back and spine. Sent me to get an MRI. Got that done pretty quick, and a CAT scan at the same time within a half hour of each other. Amazing booking. We could get that done in this day and age of medicine. Ever been in an MRI? Pretty noisy damn machine. But that man, I'm laying in there. They give me earplugs. Then they give me headphones. I'm like, am I going on the air? It's noisy in there. And then the person is trying to talk to me. This freaking thing is make a little noise. Over the weekend, I get the results of the MRI. And there's a user-friendly version of it, which is probably a benefit to somebody, maybe a name user, but it wasn't me. I'm trying to read this thing. I don't know what the hell it's saying. But I'm Googling all these terms that's in there. And they don't seem to be good for me. So I'm going to say I make a call now. I call the doctor. I don't know this guy, but I know doctors that know him. Could you read this thing and tell me what the deal is? Well, you have to come in on this week, or I can put you in probably next week or two. I said, listen, blah, 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 who I am, who I know, blah, blah. And so we're getting to see it Thursday at noontime to find out what it is. But from what I could tell, there's narrowing of the canal in the spine. There's some problems with some disc in there. The thing is, I don't feel any pain in my back. All the pain is from where my legs meet my buttocks. I don't feel any pain in the back. For that matter, I can do weightlifting and all. I just don't feel the pain there. But according to the CAT scan and the MRI, I got an issue back-wise. So we'll find out. Hopefully it's nothing. I don't want to do any more recuperating. Like I said, I've been recuperating since February of 2025. And all I want to do is get my knees done. Everything I've run into because of my knees. Just want to get it done. I shouldn't have listened to my doctor when he said, let's go get some CAT scans and echocardiograms. And that's when he found I had a problem with the heart valve, which I was doing fine with. Didn't know any problem. Well, let's get back to the show. You bring you up to date on my problems. I feel good. Just that I can't walk more than like 20 feet now. Got the tax bill. $1,000 increase. Now, again, like I told my neighbor. I told the neighbors who were like, you know what's going on in the city. It's not all from Solomon. Solomon's got a hand in there. And they really should have done a better job than the 15.5% increase. I firmly believe we could have done a better. Maybe there's still a better job to come. I'm really on hiatus right now. Like I said, I'm trying to be able to walk. I've only been talking to a few of these council people. I plan on talking to more of them. They could have done a better job. We're talking about an $887 million budget. We can make some cuts there. I know they're making some cuts, but they need to make greater cuts there. But it really is the case, and we joke around on the show here about affordability in a drinking game. It really is the case where there is no friggin' affordability in Jersey City, especially with the increase just went up $1,000. Now remember, Solomon's got you for 15.5, and yes, I'm going to say Solomon's got you 15.5 because I believe you could have done a better job. The school board's got you for another, I think it's 18%, and that's a yearly thing. Now, every friggin' year. I know Fullerpad has issues with that, and Solomon's got to take on the Board of Ed. I don't care if he's got to put together a ticket for the school board election. We just said screw it, and we become an appointed board. But he has to have say and sway here. You just can't let these people at the school board keep reaching into our pocket. And you got the county. I got confidence that Craig Guy, a lot of the problems with the schools this year, especially the Hudson County School of Technology, that caused a huge increase in the tax problems with the county. I'm sure Craig Guy will figure that out. So that maybe, hopefully, the bigger difference next year. It's Jersey City. We have the same situation again next year. Board of Education, we certainly will have the same situation again next year. But here you are. You're looking at it down there. It's me, $1,000. There's people who got hit higher than me. That's for damn sure. You're going to have to pass that along. It's one thing to eat like, taxes went up $55, that sort of thing. When taxes go up $1,000, you got to pass it along. That's going to be passed along to tenants. And that's where it becomes a situation. Somebody won't be able to afford that rent. You're talking about raising the jack and someone's rent about $100 a month. That $100 a month, that's a couple of, that's groceries. That's a week of groceries. Actually, probably maybe 4 or 5 days of groceries, maybe not a week. It becomes, it's unaffordable here in Jersey City, and that has to change. And, talking about putting parking enforcement cameras in so we can give more tickets, that's not it. And I speak as a person that's probably got more tickets than anybody in Jersey City. I get tickets all the time. I'm on that. And the NJ Direct, NBC Direct thing, my tickets, I do it all the time. I get tickets all the time. But I earn them. But make the people work for it. Don't give me Big Brother in the camera. Get a PEO and give me a ticket like they've been doing. Now, one of the problems we have, I said this last week, we're not doing a good job in enforcement. And that's something that Mayor Solomon's got. We're probably leaving $10 million on the table, maybe more than maybe 10 to 17. The estimates I've heard. For that matter, I suggested to Mayor Solomon that maybe bring in Mary Spinello, the former head of the Jersey City Parking Authority, see if she can give you some guidance on how to get out of the mess we're in there. That has to be done. We have to start coming up with another way to run the city. Running the same way we did the last 100 years, as I said last week, isn't going to work. Doesn't work anymore. We have to come up with another way. We have to be revenue-driven, but fairly, not digging into everybody's pocket. I'm a big believer, I think, service fees. Like I said with the driveways. Yeah, nobody wants to pay more. I could see a driveway permit every year. If you got a driveway, pay $600. That's $50 a month. You have the privilege of a parking spot in front of your house in your driveway. You got the driveway, we got the street. That's the city. You want that spot in front of the driveway cleared so you can pull in there? Pay it. I'm paying around $2,400. Actually, I think it's a little bit more. I think it's $2,800 to park my cars in Jersey City. I would love to pay $600 a month. They have a spot right in front of the house, a driveway. Now, I can't put a driveway in front of my house, but there's a moratorium still in effect going back to the days of Billy Gorhand and Brett Schindler in those days. That should stop. If they can build a new house across the street from me and put driveways in, I should put a driveway in. And to this day, I'll fist fight anybody in Jersey City over this. When I eventually pull that oil tank out of that house, when I'm doing the cement work, pull it out of there will be a driveway. And it's just not fair that I can't have a driveway. But I would be more than happy to pay $600. If you have an illegal driveway, you pay $600. My block alone, I think it would generate about, I forget what it was, I think it was $10,000 to $12,000 a year. That's my block alone with driveways. And we're using the service. We're coming home at night. Well, I don't have a driveway. We're coming home at night, and these people are parking. I'm paying the city to do that. I would like to park. I would like to have a driveway. And if it was permitted, I would have a driveway. But it's not right now, and it's something I'm probably going to need to push as we go forward, because then eventually I got to pull that tank out of there. And my furnace is about 10 years old. We had the water heater connected to the furnace. What a dumb idea that was. Where we came about that? Water heater was run by the furnace. Furnace was running 365 days a year. So we split that off. We hooked that on gas, and that's been a big savings. It'll extend the life of the furnace. I don't know how many years, but I would like that. We got to do something with the trash. I've worked up numbers for that, man. I'm going to text Mayor Solomon tomorrow. I said, I never got answers to some of the things. Right now, I can probably save the city about $4 million a year on the trash, and we own everything. We would own the land, we would own the building, we would own the 26 garbage trucks. For that matter, the only thing I extended beyond a year was the capitalization of the 26 garbage trucks we would need to buy, and some mobile service units and pickups, those kind of things. Outside of that, I'm paying for everything in 1 year, including the building and the land. So I know when the financial guys in Jersey City get a hold of the plan, that we're not going to pay it all in 1 year. Someone probably could save the city more than that. And somebody mentioned, well, what the hell does he know? He does TV and radio. Prior to TV and radio, people, I ran shops. I opened a lot of shops. I outfitted a lot of shops in my lifetime. I'm the guy when you walk in and say, hey, what do I put the compressor over there? And got all the pipes on the wall and the welder sockets and all that. I'm the guy to figure out where all that went. And I was doing that before we had AI and imaging. I just had to imagine all this. And we opened a shop at Piscataway or in Bridgewater or in Newark or in Woodbridge, North Bergen. All those shops I opened, I designed them. I figured out how we were going to outfit them. So, I got a big experience of that. Yes, inspecting out equipment. Never spec'd out garbage trucks, but I spec'd out tractors before and trailers. So I went to some of the guys I thought are some of the best in the trash field, and that's John Shore in North Bergen. And I got his specs for his garbage trucks and what he's paying. So I'm just following him. But we can save money there. That's the kind of thing we got to look at. We got to look at doing our own work instead of farming everything out. But listen, you got to manage the friggin' city. You have to manage it. You're going to have to manage your crew at the DPW. I would bring back the incinerator authority and put garbage under there. We're probably still paying bonding fees, bonds from the incinerator authority, so it wouldn't be that hard to open that back up. We have to figure out another way of running this city. And not just Jersey City, all the municipalities have to do that. The way we did it 100 years ago doesn't work. It's too expensive now. There's too many expenses. We're going to have to, like I said last week, we have to figure out maybe there's a way we can invest the pensions. You don't want to screw with the pension, but you want to You don't want it coming out of the taxes so much. Maybe you can invest that. But I'm going to ask Mayor Solomon during the week about, did he retain any of Mayor Fulop's financial guys? You're in a huge $255 million hole. I'll assume he didn't hold over any of the financial people, because I realize Fulop was the mayor, he's calling the shot, but these guys had to be in step with Mayor Fulop. They had to realize, we're kicking a lot of cans down the road, if the 255 is an accurate number. And Mayor Solomon told me, no, we didn't retain anybody. So that makes sense. So it's Solomon's finance people trying to bail us out of here. I do have a problem. We got so many. He just named somebody else now, another person that had nothing to do with Jersey City all these years. At least have somebody in Hudson County who understands what we do here. But you're getting you probably have it already. You probably have your tax bill, and you're like, holy. Can't say it on the radio. Probably could say it on this radio station. It's not it's kind of like cable of radio here, You're probably saying that, and that is one hell of an eye opener when that thing comes out, especially when you take out the last quarter, match it up, and say, holy, it's difficult. And like I said, and it's not the landlord that's going to suffer this. They're going to have to pass it along. And everybody's rents are going up about $100 a month, and hopefully you can afford that. But that's a big thing. That's 4 or 5 days of a food order there. That money's going to have to be directed to pay the landlord, who got to pay the taxes, and it's ridiculous. And everything else goes up. Everything associated with taxes goes up, from rents, everything in every business. It goes up. Is generated from the tax bill. Every expense. So when you're buying something on Central Avenue, you're paying more because of the taxes. Because that person who's renting the store now has to pass along the rent increase. He's going to put it on the food, or the newspaper, or the books, or whatever the hell he's selling. The soda, the coffee, you're going to pay for it there. And that's unfortunate. But until we can get a better handle, like I said, we have to change how we manage the city and how we generate revenue. The shared services. We're beating a dead horse here. We've talked about this. Combined services, shared service, consolidation, generating revenue, again, not with just tax dollars. I don't mind the service fee. If you're using a service, pay for it. Like I said, like the driveways, $600 a year, that's not a lot. You're only paying $50 a month. You pull your car in front of your house or into your garage. Well, that's great. That's great. Van Kuren Avenue. You know where Van Kuren Avenue is? I'm going to pick on Solomon a little bit. Van Kuren Avenue is on the foot of St. Paul's Avenue, right on the banks of the Hackensack River. Right on the Hackensack River. I think the location they want to put this waste transfer station in is where the old Welland Oil was back in the old days. When I was a mechanic for Fred Rich Truck and Trailer, Welland Oil, one of those big number 6 fuel tanks broke. Like how many thousands of gallons, like 40,000 gallons of black tar broke. It was like a blob coming through Jersey City. But we cleaned it up pretty good. Did a good job cleaning it up. Came right through the walls of the shopping mall. I think that's the location they're talking about. This is on the banks of the Hackensack River. They have Solomon today released a video. It's on Twitter. It's on Instagram, where he's walking in my old neighborhood. He's on St. Paul's Avenue. You see the American Can Company in the background. You know it now as the Canco Lofts. He's walking by what was Pfeiffer's bar, Carol's Ale House in the old days. He walked past what was Hank and Joe's bar. Now it's a men's Chinese restaurant. You see him walking. It's where I'm raised. That's home to me. Dog Patch, Jersey City. He's talking about having this waste transfer station in this neighborhood. Well, Mayor Solomon, that's not where the waste transfer station. You're about 2 miles away where the waste transfer station would be. It would be all the way down St. Paul's Avenue on the banks of the Hackensack River, where Mayor Solomon was in his video. He's on Tunley Avenue, walking east up the Kennedy Boulevard. He ain't even close to where the waste transfer station would be. Like I said, he's like 2 miles away, all the way down St. Paul's Avenue to the end. Go too far, you're walking, you'll be swimming. Make a little left, and there's Van Kuren. And he's talking about, he's playing it up. I understand. He doesn't want it here, but the state does. And we generate garbage. So we can't stick it all in Newark. You know, I'm not in Dogpatch anymore. It's home for me. You know, I'm in the Heights ever since I got married. But it's probably the best spot for it. Now, forget about what Fulop's talking about as Solomon Gotch. So many years of talking about Steve Fulop, 12 years. Forget about the exhaust fumes from the trucks, which they don't blow black smoke like the old days, or all the fumes from the garbage and all that stuff. You're 2 miles away. The only neighborhoods that would be affected, or homes, I'll say, not even neighborhoods. There aren't many neighborhoods down there anymore, like when I was a kid. Lost Avenue is gone. Colbert Street is gone. That was all taken out when we did the bridges and the overpasses over. My old family house, 396, is gone, where my family had the bar. It is Fox's, the Soap Creek Lounge, but originally it was the West End Bar and Grill. That's gone. Lewis Avenue is still there. James Avenue is still there. The closest home east of Van Kuren Avenue that would possibly be affected is on James Street, which is probably at least a mile away. And you probably have 5 homes there on James and Dice Street. Outside of that, you're not going to hit another home until you get up on Lewis Avenue. Going south, you're not hitting any homes until you get over by Broadway. I don't believe anybody lives in the middle of the Charlotte Circle anymore. Yeah, my friend Norman, his family lived there. There was a little neighborhood in the middle of the Charlotte Circle in the old days. I don't think anybody lives there. I could be wrong. But I think the closest residents you would see going south would be Broadway. Going west, going up the Hackensack River, you're going up Route 7, nobody. For that matter, Copper's Coat, if people who don't know where Copper's Coat is on Kearney, right, again on the banks of the Hackensack River. The county owns that property. They bought us to put an incinerator there one time. We were going to burn the garbage. It's probably one of the better ways of dealing with a lot of this garbage, instead of burying it all over, is to burn it. And again, these things burn a lot cleaner than it was in the 60s, that sort of thing. But there's no residence that way. And north, you don't run into another residence north. Oh, man, until you probably get to Secaucus. It's all businesses. In that area of Jersey City, once you get past James Street, is all industrial. It's where PS&G was. And PS&G land is empty right now. For that matter, it's one of the places I would put my DP, my trash equipment. I'm thinking about putting the facility for the trash trucks and the maintenance facility down there on the PS&G land. That's probably some contamination there over all those years of PS&G running it. I'm just assuming it is. It couldn't. Maybe it's not. But there were a lot of storage things back there in the old days. Back there, and it's all industrial. It's all some dilapidated trucking terminals. There's a couple of new warehouses way down in Dogpatch there. And Mayor Solomon's talking about, there will be hundreds of trucks a day coming down this road. Well, Mayor, I don't think they'll be coming down St. Paul's Avenue. But they're going to probably go right out to 1 and 9 by the Charlotte Circle. They would come in that way and go out that way. Would you have some that may go up the hill? Possible. But for the most part, they want to get back on the highway and get back on 1 and 9 and, points south, west, east, whatever, and then you do that off 1 and 9. In the old days, when we talk about a lot of trucks, there were lots of trucks that went up St. Paul's Avenue. And we used to have railroad tracks down there. But then there had to be like 8 sets of tracks back there. Back in the days of my childhood. It was a real job to try to cross the railroad tracks in the old days. We had a ton of trucking terminals. You had Coca-Cola back there. You had a Copper's Coat was also there. You had, as the aforementioned, Public Service. You had a can company. You had, so many trucking companies there. Dumans was back there back then. All the trucking companies that were along James Street and Duffield. We used to run trucks up and down. But for the most part, we would run out to the trucking companies would run out to the Charlotte Circle. Getting back to the location, I'm a Dogpatch guy. That's home for me. I can't think of a better spot, unless we could put it over in Copper's Coat, but that's Kearney. I can't think of a better spot in Jersey City to put it. And if it's run properly, it's not an issue. It's when it's not run properly. And that's the main thing we've got to find out. The people who are going to run this, are they professionals that doing this? Are they going to run it the proper way? And that's the answer we need to find. The location, I don't think it's an issue. I don't think it's an issue. We've had, a lot of businesses down there in my youth. Some of them were the best. Some of them were good. Some weren't. And eventually we got rid of the ones that weren't so good. And then eventually we got rid of almost all of Dog Patch. I'm surprised I don't fade out of pictures from my youth. So much of my personal history is gone. You still got some homes. 1239 Westside Avenue, where I lived with Mom before Mom passed away. 420 St. Paul's Avenue, I lived there. 396, that was our family. My family owned a home also on Colbert Street. My Aunt Trudy lived on Larch Avenue back in the old days, but most of that's gone. 396 is gone, Colbert's gone, Larch Avenue is gone. Lewis Avenue is pretty much still there. One of Wells Laboratory, I got to take a ride there. One of Wells Laboratory is still there. It was a lab that did all sorts of testing back there. But I mean, they were testing marijuana when we were kids. They were growing weeds alongside the place. It didn't take us long to figure out, hey, it's marijuana. It's good stuff too. But I can't think of a better place. For that matter, there is a meeting on August the 20th at St. Anne's Church at 6 p.m. St. Anne's Church is right on St. Paul's and Tunley Avenue. There's parking across the way at the school. Not a lot of parking, unless Camp Cole Lofts is going to open up their lots a little bit. If that's the case, then we got some parking. It'll be at 6 o'clock in the church. They'll be talking about the waste transfer station. I'm not there anymore. It's not where I live. I live in the Heights, but yeah, I know the area really well. Maybe I attend the meeting if I can walk. I'll attend the meeting, but go in there with an open mind. And we create all this garbage. We got to put it somewhere. It's got to be handled. So got to go somewhere, and it's probably the place of least amount of inconvenience for the entire city. And like I said, you're at least a mile away from a handful of homes. Handful. That's on James and Dice, and you got to go quite a way over to Broadway, and that's the only residence you're going to hit. Going east or south and north and west, there are no residents. Whoever picked the spot, they did some studying. All right, Five Corners Library. Well, it's starting to get the feeling that ain't going to open again because of air conditioning. Kind of reminiscent of the hockey rink in Persian Field. How we were putting this together with duct tape and keep it running. Well, we should have friggin' addressed this in the past. But of course, we're Jersey City. As Bill Gorham, rest his soul, once said, we are the worst property owners, worst landlords there are, the city of Jersey City. And here we are again, where we screwed this up. We should have addressed this a decade ago with the air conditioning system in Five Corners. Five Corners, in the world of libraries, Five Corners is a fairly new one. That was built, I think, in the mid-'60s when I was a young kid. That thing's got some life in it. Now, is there a developer looking at it? Because Tom Zuper, our Ward C councilman, has a petition out there. I don't know why a councilman is putting out a petition. He should be in there using all the forces of Jersey. I was texting with him. Yeah. There's pressure you could put on the library. They do get money out of our budget. They get a percentage of the taxes we charge. I remember Glenn, I forget what the situation, it had something to do with personnel. If you recall Glenn Cunningham back in the day, Glenn had a problem. Glenn showed up. Glenn had a problem with the parking authority. Glenn showed up. They made sure that problem was going to be taken care of. He didn't send any deputy mayors there. Glenn handled that himself. And he was very pointed on how he was going to handle things. They had a problem. It was a personnel problem with the library. He got that straightened out real quick. Yes, we control the money. Now it's a separate board and all that, blah, 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 blah. But the money comes from the city of Jersey City. Yeah, we can make some accounting errors, and people can wait for some money. The public library is not going to tell the city of Jersey City what they're doing. Unless we got some real weak leadership. Now goes Solomon and Zuper and the gang. We're not being told by the library board what's going to happen to the library. We're going to tell them what's going to happen. That air conditioning system, okay, it needs to be replaced. Let's do it. For that, probably we can have a far more efficient air conditioning unit system put in there now than maybe 10 years ago. So maybe in the long run, it's beneficial. But this is sad how you got to put the blame on Fulop. Let's go. Where do you want to put the blame? Fulop was there 12 years. Could have addressed it 12 years, the last 12 years. Healy was there, 8 years? Could have blamed Healy. And throw some at Glenn. Well, I tell you what, about Glenn, he was a library guy. Oh, he loved libraries. There's no way in hell that library would have had this problem under Glenn Cunningham. But under Glenn Cunningham, he had no problem. Glenn had no problem twisting his arm, twisting your arm. He was going to get what he wanted when it comes to Jersey City, especially if it had to do with children and seniors. There were two lines you didn't want to cross with Glenn Cunningham: was children and seniors. You cross that line, you're gonna fight with Glenn. What's happening with the Five Corners? As Texan with Super, you got to put heat on them. Yeah, the only thing anybody freaking understands is money. That's it. They understand money. Money could get tight there, library. Think about it. Better figure out how you're going to handle that. Maybe you talk to the city. Maybe the city can lend you somebody, can give you some bonding capabilities, whatever, to get the air conditioning system replaced. And I don't know why you couldn't put some temporaries in there. I see shops. A shop where I got my car fixed down in Tom Derby has a big air conditioning system there. You can roll it around. There are things you can do if you want to do it. Goes back to what I said before. You have to want to manage. The city needs to be managed. And that's what the friggin' mayor should be doing. He should be mad. There's a problem. Solomon should be down there. Should be down there with what, I don't know what we got DPW-wise. Anybody's got some air conditioning background. Bring somebody then. Find the people that work at Persian Field and figure out what we can do here. But that's what has to be done. Like going back to Glenn Cunningham, they had a problem with the hub, with the supermarket. Glenn didn't send no deputy mayor there. Glenn went there. He was the manager of Jersey City. He was the mayor and manager. And you're just not going to let these people dictate to us. They do with the school board. That's another friggin' thing. Where are they getting the money from? We're getting it from our payroll taxes? You're putting a tax on? We collect the money for you and send it to you? We're not good at sending out checks, Board of Education. We're not that good. That's how we got in the hole we were in. You want to screw around? We can play around. For that matter, the director of the Jersey City Public Library is resigning. I think effective the end of this month. And Terry Hill, he's resigning. I hope, now I could be 100% wrong. I hope he's resigning because Solomon said this is BS. We're not closing the friggin' library here. This shouldn't have happened. Been there 5 years, you didn't know we had an air conditioning problem? Now I'll give the mayors a break because nobody tells the mayor. That's one thing. But, here's a case where if you do shared services, DPW should be involved with the schools. We have a crew of people, the DPW, Department of Public Works. They could do work in the schools. School nurses, we could talk to RWJ Barnabas about getting a school. There are ways to cut the expenses in Jersey City. DPW could do the repairs at the schools. Cut your taxes. We get paid by the Board of Ed, and it stays within the city. And it's the Board of Ed pays the Jersey City do repair. There's ways to do that, but you have to effing want to manage it, and you got to be able to manage it. And like I said, this isn't the city, the municipalities of 100 years ago. It doesn't, what we did 100 years doesn't work. We have to figure out another way. We have to be able to control the expenses and generate revenue. And it's selling all the land. People keep saying, sell the land. So the city should have no assets. I don't agree with that one. North Bergen, let's go to North Bergen. It's all a little politics. I assume everybody knows Nicholas Sacco. Mayor of North Bergen for a very long time, former state senator for a very long time. The last 3 municipal elections for mayor in North Bergen, it was Nick Sacco versus Larry Weinstein, who is now your assemblyman under Brian Stack. Weinstein lost each time. Nick it really wasn't even a contest, even though people said, Larry was getting closer. Yeah, not really. We need about another 100 years to catch up with Nick. You have an election in North Bergen next year. I'm not sure if Nick Sacco goes for another 4 years. I would like, because he's one of the more pragmatic mayors. I've got to know these mayors over there. I've been doing this for 30 years. I probably got to know Nick. One of the first mayors I really started to work with was Nick Sacco. Got to know, of course, the Schundlers and Glenn Cunninghams, Joe Doria, great mayor. One of the real good mayors in Hudson County, Joe Doria. Dave Roberts in Hoboken. Dave Roberts is always funny and interesting. He was the only person that would close this city. Close Hoboken. Snowing. We're closing Hoboken. He would do it. Of course, you got Brian Stack in Union City. Mike Cannelli. You never hear anything about Mike Cannelli and Seacawker. Probably one of the wisest guys in Hudson County. He knows everything. He doesn't tell you everything, but he knows everything that's going on. And he knows some Bergen County. He knows a lot about Bergen County also and Hudson County. He watches, he observes, he talks who he has to talk to, and he goes about running his city and does a good job running Seacawker. Excellent way Seacawker set up to. You got the residential and their industrial side to Seacawker. Kind of what Sacco did in North Bergen. You got an industrial side and a residential side. And what Nick did over all those years, he created jobs. Like that Walmart mall, that mall down at Tunley Avenue. A lot of North Bergen people work there. But Larry Weinstein is gearing up for another shot at Nick. I think this may be his 5th time. Somebody was telling me they did it. I'd have to really check. I know of 3 campaigns against Nick. Maybe there is a 4th one in there. I thought it was 3. So he's gearing up to go after Nick Sacco again. Larry's got name value this time. He's run enough. He'll have possibly the Hudson County HCDO and, of course, the forces of Brian Stack. Possibly HCDO and Brian Stack. I don't think Brian Stack sits it out against the Sacco ticket. That's if you got Nick run. If Nick runs again, he wins. It's that, he'll be almost 80 years old. I don't know if Nick goes again. But you got some good people there. Alan Pasquale, Hugo Cabrera, Anthony Venieri there. You got some real good people that could be the next mayor. But Sacco is iconic. If he runs, he wins. But like we just got here with 15.5% increase. It doesn't happen in North Bergen. North Bergen is not even an Abbott district. He has to come there. North Bergen has to come up with their own school taxes. He manages to pull this off. He manages the city, the township of North Bergen. I've said this many times. You want me to be successful? I've said this to pull up another mayor. You want to be a successful mayor? Whatever Nick Sacco does today, you do tomorrow, and you'll be fine. That city is run. It's probably the best pothole city that I know, with the exception of one block in North Bergen. If there's a pothole, obviously Nick doesn't like potholes, but he must have a crew that goes out there all the time. Try to find a pothole in North Bergen. Tough, except for one block that I know of, and we're trying to get that fixed now. For that matter, my mother-in-law was alive. Her husband passed on, and she goes to the bank they've been banking at all her life. And she goes down there to do some banking, and she doesn't have a government-issued photo ID. Now, Mom had been there like 50 years, so we can't help you out, Mr. Donato, until you have photo ID. So we got to get Mom a photo ID. Call Nick Sacco, who's got the one in North Bergen that's parking there. Nick made a couple of calls. We bring Mom up there. So we're driving to North Bergen, and we're going Nelson Avenue onto the Grand Street. It was amazing. I'll never forget Mom saying this. Riding along, and she looks at me and goes, "We're not in Jersey City anymore, are we?" And I said, "No, we're in North Bergen now." You could tell the curbs were painted, the garbage was all picked up, the grass is cut. There's a big difference. There's no friggin' bottles. The guy runs a great town. Like I said, now these two guys, Larry's throwing rocks at Sacco. Sacco's pretty much sitting, he's not responding to this. An ex-assemblyman responded to a letter that was sent to John Hines at Hudson County View. If Nick runs, Nick wins. If Nick doesn't run, it might be an interesting campaign. But watch this. The weeks go by, there'll be more attacks on Nick Sacco from Larry Weinstein. It'll be interesting to watch. You like campaigns that have a little heat to it. But again, if Nick Sacco runs, he wins. All right, we're going to break for commercial. You're listening to The City Show. I'm Pat O'Melia. I'll be right back. Your basement or attic packed? You no longer have a garage? Extra Space Storage has space. Self-storage units starting at 4 foot by 4 foot and up for the storage of furniture, appliances, electronics, clothing, business inventory, sporting equipment. Some Extra Space locations even have vehicle storage. Extra Space Storage from North Bergen to Toms River and everywhere in between and beyond. Visit on the net for your nearest Extra Space Storage location, extraspace.com.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or a quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and launch inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Your basement or attic packed? You no longer have a garage? Extra Space Storage has space. Self-storage units starting at 4 foot by 4 foot and up for the storage of furniture, appliances, electronics, clothing, business inventory, sporting equipment. Some Extra Space locations even have vehicle storage. Extra Space Storage from North Bergen to Toms River and everywhere in between and beyond. Visit on the net for your nearest Extra Space Storage location, extraspace.com. Hi, I'm Pat O'Melia with the Hudson County High School Sports and Entertainment Network, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. You may have heard me talk about teaching high school juniors and seniors studio and radio production. The hope is when these kids graduate and wish to continue their education, they may receive college scholarships. Or, if not, they will have the experience from our program to get employment at the major motion movie studios here in New Jersey and New York. I started a GoFundMe where you can make a donation completely tax deductible to help these kids end the studio program. Please go to GoFundMe and type in Hudson County High School Sports and Entertainment Network. I thank you now for your generosity. Toms River Armory, 602 Clifton Avenue, right at the intersection of Clifton Avenue and Route 37 at Toms River. Your local source for all your firearm, ammo needs, and accessories. Plus, gunsmithing, repair, and cleaning on site. And coming soon, firearm training and classes. Toms River Armory, 732-569-3730. On the net at tomsriverarmory.com. Open Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Toms River Armory, 602 Clifton Avenue at the intersection of Route 37 and Clifton Avenue in Toms River. Visit on the net at tomsriverarmory.com. All right, I'm back. Pat O'Melia here, City Show, live on GGR. But we're talking about the Toms River Armory. Toms River Armory is also owned by the guy at CNC Auto Works. They work on my cars when my cars are down in Seaside Heights. And there's one particular car I keep in Seaside Heights. When I come down, I run around Seaside Heights with it. Is a 2004 Chevy Evo. Good little car. A lot of people don't like the Chevy Evo. You take care of it, it'll run for you. The previous owner had somebody do some half-ass repairs on it, and they welded the lower control arms to the and idle arms, the lower idle arms to the frame. And now they had to be replaced, and you got to cut them off the frame. So we got to replace the subframe in the front. So I tracked down the subframe. I got all new front suspension pieces. Remember, I got them off Amazon. It looks like a good kit. I usually go with Moog suspension parts, but it looks like a good kit. And I didn't want to hold them up, not realizing I was being set up. My buddy Pat there, he's going to do all the work. He says, you got to get the bolts. I thought he was talking about the bolts for the suspension pieces. So I'm looking. I said, I got all the bolts in here. So I drop them off. I put them in the car. It was after hours. And I sent him an email telling him I dropped it off. I said, what the hell bolts is... I told him it was emailing his buddy, his partner, Chris. What the hell bolts is Pat talking about? Says they're subframe bolts. Hey, you guys can't get your own bolts? Yeah, I'll track them down. For many, many years, I ran shops. Turns out these are very difficult bolts to find. They screw right into the frame. They're taped a certain way. Well, for freaking things like $15 a pop, 94 of them. It's a bolt, but it's a special threading on it. Man, he set me up. Now, as soon as I tracked him down, I sent him an email. See why you had me get the bolts. What a pain in the ass. But I got them. And for that matter, I just dropped them off today. So hopefully I get Tiny back. That's what we call this car. It's a little tiny blue car. Get that back. Good running little car. It's got like 74,000 miles on it. Very good on fuel. And like I said, I keep that down at Seaside Heights. I might even start using a little bit more than just Seaside Heights. It's really just too good of a car just to keep down here. Let's get back to the show. You care. But when you're in North Bergen, or in North Hudson, I have one on Patterson Pike Road at the Gulf Station there next to the Basics. He does my repairs when the cars are up that way. So either way, I got one, or I got Chris and Pat at CNC. As of today, you can no longer get a plastic fork, a straw, or a spoon with your takeout. Now, I'm okay. I don't like plastic forks and spoons. Yeah, I get takeout. I'm taking it home with me. I'm not going to eat it in the car, so I don't need the plastic fork and spoon. But I do need the straw. I'm a manly man, but I do use a straw. And they give you a paper straw. You may as well throw it at them because they last like freaking 5 minutes before they just deteriorate. What is the problem we have now with... I understood the plastic bags. I really wasn't in favor of it, but I do appreciate that they're not flying all around in the streets anymore. So I'll go along with the plastic bag ban. I don't know why we banned paper bags. They're biodegradable. We grow the forests, the trees particularly to become paper bags, but we banned them also. I don't see a ton of plastic forks or spoons in the street or straws. I don't know where the need is for this. We just take everything to such a freaking extreme here in New Jersey. There's not a problem. Now, I know people, and then what's the next thing? The ketchup? The only thing I use ketchup on is French fries, and that's only on occasion. And the other time I use salt is on potatoes or eggs. So you don't give me the condiments, that's fine with me. But I know people that love, my wife will put ketchup on anything. That's the next thing. I guarantee you they're going to cut out the condiments next. Why we go to such extremes here? I wish we did extremes where let's make it more affordable. Let's take that to an extreme. Nah, we don't do that. Plastic forks, we'll get them damn things. We'll stop that. Stop it in its tracks. Affordability in New Jersey? Yeah. Well, that seems to be something we don't take to the extreme. We should take that to the extreme, but we don't. But as of today, if you want them, you have to ask for them. Who remembers that? I don't remember that. But like I said, I'm not the guy. I'm going to take out and bring it home. Unless you're somebody that's like, eats it in your car or something. I guess you want the plastic fork or something. Not for me. But I do need the straw. Skyway, the Pulaski Skyway. My old friend grew up in the shadows of the Pulaski Skyway in Dogpatch, Jersey City. My name is on the Pulaski Skyway. But that meant I got to go check it out. And the embankments there for the Skyway down in Dogpatch. You get under the bridge, you'll see PO 1971. Then I went back and updated it in 1989. Yeah, 1980. Yeah, 1998. So I'm due to go back and update it for 2026. But they got a fence up there. I might be able to get through the back way instead of just trying to get off on Central Avenue. But I grew up in the shadows of the Pulaski Skyway. I spent many a day under the Pulaski Skyway, goofing around and knocking off a case of beer with the guy, that sort of thing. The ramp for Broadway, I forgot this thing was even there. It's been closed 5 years now. They're going to open it up on Labor Day. It took them 5 years to rebuild the ramp. They built the entire Route 7 bridge, I think, faster than that. And it's a good job on that bridge, too, the new one. And the Portal Bridge, I got to watch that get built. That was really a nice job they did on that. For that matter, I think they're going to start doing the testing on the new Portal Bridge. I think that starts in the next week or so. Hopefully around by October when the winter starts to set in, where you don't want to be on the old Portal Bridge because that thing would get stuck all the time. You get the new one going. Let's do a little national stuff here. Iran. Yeah, Iran, yeah. First off, Trump says big oil is making too much money on this Iran crisis. I agree with him. You know, I think crude is at $70 a barrel right now. You know, if it moves $1, the price of gas goes up 10 cents a gallon. I agree with that. Now, my question with my man Trump, my man, I do know him a little bit. Why does Trump even keep talking any kind of a peace agreement with Iran? These people can't keep their word, or they won't keep their word. I think the problem in Iran, I think there's two factions. I think you got the military and you got the political, and the military just wants to fight and fight. It's kind of like what happened in World War II with the emperor. You know, the Japanese military would fight till the bitter end. That's why we had to drop the bomb on them, because, you know, it would have been, you know, loss of thousands of Allied soldiers' lives taken Japan. So there was no choice there. That's what we got in Iran. But Iran ain't Japan. We could take them out. We just break them economically. Take out their energy generating electric, turn to their bridges, Krug Island, take that out. Why are we screwing around with these people? Now, I admit, I have an edge, an axe to grind. I remember the 444 days with the hostages. Yeah, I remember the call. I remember all these terrorist attacks. Or their proxies did the attacks. So we owe Iran. I don't know why. I realize Trump, I guess he wants to be the diplomacy here. And he's going to try everything. But they keep lying. And there's no way in hell the straits are going to become a toll road there. It's international water. That's like us saying, you know, the Atlantic Ocean. You got to pay the United States a toll if you want to come by there. Yeah, why he even agrees to have any talks with these guys is beyond me. Now, Spider-Man. Now, I'm a big MCU guy. I'm a Spider-Man fan. I like more of Iron Man. Really like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, the Hulk, those kind of guys. Spider-Man, I enjoy Spider-Man. His new movie, Spider-Man Brand New Day, did $360 million domestic. I think that's like twice what Supergirl did. Think about that. Twice what Supergirl. I didn't see Supergirl yet. I do want to see Supergirl. And it did another $932 million globally. Its opening week is just behind Endgame, which did $1.22 billion. That is incredible. Tom Holland has got a job. You figure he's got at least another 5 Spider-Man. They got to stop making these movies a little more than they are. You know, every 5 years or so. You know, come on. Yeah, you're gonna have to knock these things, especially with someone like Tom Holland and Spider-Man. Start knocking them out. You got Doomsday coming out in December. I think Doomsday does $3 million. I had to go back to my tweet. I think I said Spider-Man was going to be near $3 million. This is months ago. Doomsday would do over $3 billion, and Spider-Man would be near it. I think Spider-Man, by the end of its run, it might do that $3 billion. Because I tell you, I guarantee you, the drop-off in tickets this week with Spider-Man will probably be somewhere in the 40s. Usually with these kind of movies, you get like about a 58% drop in ticket sales. I bet it's somewhere in the 40s. Spider-Man is going to have a long run right through the summer. So excellent. I didn't see it yet. I'm trying to avoid everything on YouTube about it. But hopefully I get to see it next week. Hopefully I can walk into a theater. Right now I'm having a big problem with that. All right, listen, we're at a show. You be good. You be safe. I'll talk to you next week. Good night, and thank you for listening.
Say you don't know me, I recognize my face. Say you don't care who goes to that kind of place. Knee deep in the hoopla, sinking in your fight.